Hi, I'm Mary Lee LeBay, and I'm an instructor of hypnotherapy and past life regression. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some responses I get from people when I tell them that I'm a past life regressionist. Probably one of the most popular responses is, well, I have so many problems in this life. Why would I want to take a look at a different life? That statement really says a lot to me. Well, first of all, about how they feel about their life, right? If this life is so overwhelming that they don't want to take on anymore, it does talk to me about their stress levels and maybe some other kind of work that they need to do to reduce that or some streamlining. What is creating all this stress, right? Is it procrastination? Is it not finishing your work? Is it not being organized enough? Is it making the wrong choices? Are you getting into the wrong relationships? You know, oh my gosh, so many things if that's your attitude about your life, right? However, maybe it's full enough and everything is so beautiful, but you're so busy playing the piano, playing tennis, traveling here and there, then you don't really want to add anything more. But I would still argue with that, okay? Because no matter how beautiful and easy your life is, there's always something to work on and some way to grow. So, so past lives might be about, or visiting your past lives might be about how are you going to grow? How are you going to expand your mind and know more about who you are? Because I was very wealthy at one time, now, moderately so, successful, yes. But there was a time when I was married and I had a lot of money and I had no sense of myself. And it was very materialistic and very empty. How many new things can you buy to fill up that space inside of you? Looking at past lives can also add some dimension into your character. So the way that I like to explain it to people who think that that they have enough going on, that they don't need to look at past lives, is that when you look at past lives and you integrate the lessons, the wisdom, the learning, the knowledge of who you are, you integrate that into who you are now, it actually makes your life here easier. Okay? So if I learned a lesson 500 years ago and I'm looking at that and I'm integrating that, maybe I won't make that mistake again. There is a benefit to history, right? So if I can look at that, maybe I've forgotten in my conscious mind, I have forgotten that very valuable lesson that I learned so many centuries ago. But now I go in there and I look at that and I look at the context of that history and that society and that community, and I can apply that to me here, and I can know more about who I am. I've been a pauper, I've been royalty, I've been a druid, I've been a wise person, I've been high up in the church, I've been, a beggar, I've been a slave, and I've been a slave owner. I mean, we all have. This is a big topic in the society right now, but none of us are free of that history of ourselves. So if you don't want to look at yourself, maybe you're going to go out there and be rageful and prejudice. How can you be prejudiced about other cultures and other skin tones and other ways of living, other religions, when you have been all of that? I've been Black, I've been Asian, I've been European, I've been South American, Polynesian. I have done all of that. Okay, and I remember it. I remember it. Can you imagine the gift, the treasure of that wisdom, of that sense of self? I've done it for so many years that I just take it in stride that I know these things about myself. And then I look at people that have never, maybe don't even understand past lives, or they don't know how to connect to that, or they've never seen it. And I just think, oh my gosh, it's like a diamond. If you had a beautiful diamond that represented your soul, and it had an infinite number of facets, each one representing the lifetimes that you've had, and you live on one facet, you have no idea of the splendor of your character, of your soul, the way that you can polish and shine it up and make it glitter and refract that light and shine all the colors and light from there. That's what your soul can do, but not if we're just living from this one little facet of a diamond. It's flat and it's confined, it's very restricted, right? So how can you, for me, it's really surprising about how a person can live a life and not take all of that information into account, right? These experiences are so valuable for developing empathy and sympathy. And now people come to me with what is just, maybe the biggest trauma of their life, and they're just distraught, right? And yet, I'm looking at it and thinking, but have you survived the bubonic plague? Have you fought in the battle on foot with swords and horses and shields? Have you, do you remember being hacked to death? Do you remember being tortured in the Inquisition? Do you remember being a slave? And you're telling me that this divorce is the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to you? Or, this tragedy of some sort, or this imposition? It would take a lot. It would take a lot to rock your boat if you can remember. But if you only live one little life and your whole world is based on that experience from that perspective, it's very, very limited. Okay? It's very limited. And so, but, back to the point is we are living in some pretty difficult, chaotic times. There's a lot of uncertainty. What's going to happen to our country? What's going to happen to our health? Who do we believe in this healthcare crisis? Who do we, how do we manage through this, right? How are we going to get there? If this is the worst thing you've ever been through, it is tremendous, okay? It is a stressful time. But when you remember going through World War II, World War I, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, but it simply isn't to our best advantage to ignore all of that. And the best way to really grasp that is to remember these lifetimes and to remember individuals as people. So, when you're meeting people, you can look at them and see their soul, not the color of their skin, not the country that they're from, not the language that they speak or the religion that they believe in. You see them as a soul. And if you have a lot of contact with people, you've probably had many lifetimes with them. And they've been your mother and your father and your son and your daughter and your sister and your brother and the shopkeeper down the road and the person that saved your life and the person that hung you and the person that betrayed you. Yes, all of those experiences. But wouldn't it be more important to look at that soul and recognize them? How would your experience be? How would you feel if somebody looked at you and saw you for who you are, remembered you as their child, remembered you as their lover, remembered you for the heroics that you did in other lifetimes? remembered you for your own character and legacy and not because of your appearance now, your skin, your wealth, any of it, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be awesome? So, if you don't think you need to visit past lives, I'm sorry for you because you're missing out on a, a universe of passion, understanding, character building, self discovery, knowing who you are. Okay. And then knowing how to move forward in your life because who you are today is informing who in the future, you're going to regress back to here and you're going to go, oh my God, I'm so ashamed of who I was there. Or I'm so proud of who I am, or who I was in this lifetime and the decisions that I made, right? So it's just an amazing, amazing experience. And there's nothing so great in this life, so overburdening in this life, that would not be helped by going into a past life. And just one other really quick comment about that is that a lot of addictions, behaviors, compulsive behaviors, dysfunctional attitudes, and character flaws that we have in this lifetime are rooted in those other lifetimes. And so when we go into those other lifetimes, we get to undo that. We get to loosen that up and readjust how that operated. Maybe not turn to alcohol or drugs or a life of crime. We can actually do healing on those other lifetimes. And when those lifetimes get resolved, then that is helping us here. So we can go into past lives and we fix our weight problem, our addictions to alcohol and drugs. We fix all of those dysfunctions that we're dealing with. And when that is corrected, we're not going to be quite so overwhelmed in this lifetime, right? We're going to be able to handle the situations that come up in this life. I would love to be able to do regressions and hypnotherapy with all the people out there who are so angry and so hurting and feeling so bad. It would just be so wonderful to actually have deep and powerful, effective healing. Or people who are sick, have physical ailments, the weaknesses that make us succumb to COVID more easily. Why not work on those things? And we can do that in hypnotherapy. But anyway, thank you for listening today. I hope you enjoyed this. And I know you can feel my passion about this topic. So if you have any questions, I'd love to speak with you. I give a free 30 to 60 minute discovery call, and we can talk about what you might have as goals for discovering your past lives. And the link is down below. All right. Thank you so much.